Hello, Lisa Richard here with Loving Energy Recharge, coming in to do the inner alchemy for the new moon in the sign of Gemini and the energy to follow between the period of June the 7th to the 12th. For those of you who are new to this channel, inner alchemy is a blend of human design, the gene keys, our background as a more than existing lightworker coach, and our ability to channel intuitively through the collective energy. For those that have been following this channel for a little while, this is also a continuation of the ascension that we are currently on, as we have seen that we are in 7 throat activations that is stimulating the throat chakra. That started in the first week in May and is leading us all the way to the summer solstice. Now, this relationship between seeing these 7 gate activations in the throat and its relationship to then climbing through the chakra system has now placed us in a position in this new moon and what is to come of moving the energy from the throat up into triggering the third eye awareness. So you may want to go back to listen to some of the other videos if you're really wanting to get a good sense of what climbing that ascension ladder has been, so that you can learn about the different shadow aspects that have been showing up, the dilemmas, the challenges that have stimulated our learning process, and most importantly, the gifts for you to start building up within yourself that you continue to keep as you're climbing higher and higher in your own evolution and your own self-awareness. So let us jump in really quickly to talk about this new moon in the sign of Gemini. And we are in Gemini season. So Gemini is known as an air element. It is seen as the twins. So picture that as there's 2 sides to everything. There's this, there's that, and there's everything in between. So that air sign and being in the 3rd house, this is all about sharing, communication, distribution, enhancing relationships. And because it is air and communication, we see all these activations that are being stimulated in our throat chakra. This ascension is what is known as reclaiming the divine voice. Your divine voice is how you express yourself, how you are listening to a higher wisdom and or your own shadow mind talk, and how we are manifesting our reality. So part of an ascension is getting really clear on the power of your mind, the power of your body, and coming into balance with both of them in order for that spirit within to rise up. So this new moon is literally the catalyst of opening the gate for us into the next of the throat activations that we are going to be climbing then to activate that third eye. And it is bringing us into what is known as the channel of money and the ring of prosperity. So a new moon is an opportunity for new beginnings. It's in the dark, right? The moon is still there, but it is dark. You can't see it in the sky. So it's like being back in the womb, in a time of reflection, really now contemplating for yourself ideas around money, material, and prosperity. So we're going to hold on to that energy as we now examine the gate 45, which is going to be the energy from June the 7th to the 12th. And that is known as gathering together. Now, gathering together is going to carry this theme, this connection of the channel of money and the ring of prosperity. And it's interesting because what it is doing in its activation of your third eye is it's really going to stimulate your own mental ideas around the concepts of wealth and material and prosperity and how you feel about that. So the body is going to have a response to that. The mind is going to have a conditioned story of that. You may feel in the sign of Gemini that you're being torn in half between I used to believe this and now I feel that, and I don't know where I belong in all of this chaos. So don't be alarmed if you are feeling this sense of disconnection right now. We have to learn to let things go and to let ideas fall apart in order for new beginnings to happen. So this is also very much a process in this ascension as the air is getting a little bit more harder to breathe, and you have to be mindful of your capacity to take in information and allow it to sit for longer and longer periods of time in order to get the clarity that is needed to then arrive at the wisdom that is there. So we are really looking at this gate 45 gathering together, and it teaches us the principles of seeing yourself as a VIP, a very important person. And it's interesting because this comes with the shadow of dominance and the dilemma of insecurity. So you might even hear those words VIP, and you might instantly have an opinion of what that is, who's entitled to it, who isn't entitled to it, if it's for you, if it's not for you. So some of the echoes and the vibration of this energy of gathering together are going to be in the sounds of, I'm not safe, I have this, I do not have that. Now, that is a program that is fed into the mind of the child. And as you are growing, you have been conditioned to so many exposures of being fed that language. You have this, you don't have that. And really now examining for yourself as you're looking out into the world and you're looking at money and you're looking at material objects, consumerism, our dominance over each other that we see playing out in this energy of competition. We see races dominating. We see the masculine dominating the feminine. We see the parent dominating the child, the teacher dominating the student. There's so many forms of this dominance that is fed by that insecurity. I'm insecure, therefore I have to go and conquer this land, and I have to capture these resources, and I have to be the one to administer control to the masses. So that is based on a fear that is having a lack mentality, that there's not enough for everybody. So we want to really examine some of that narrative and where those stories, those conditions came from. So using that analogy of placing yourself in the VIP position, which means you're sitting on your throne, you're sitting in the place of royalty, and you're coming to the understanding that whatever you're thinking about, wherever your energy is going, whatever you're attached to, that is now your subjects. You are responsible for serving your subjects. So you are the ruler of your world. You are responsible for what is coming towards you and how you handle your own distributions of wealth, prosperity, and finance. So sometimes we hear the word dominance and we look at insecurities, and I have this and I don't have that, or I don't feel safe, therefore I need to accumulate all these other things, and looking at those narratives. When we approach this from an even higher level and perhaps an even more simplified level, the question that I'm really sensing for myself in this energy is, do you treat your time and your energy as your most valuable resource, your currency? So if you're out there trying to make money and trying to accumulate all these things, it requires your time and your energy to do that. But do we see our energy, our life force, as our biggest commodity? And if you truly examine that and you consider that for yourself, Do you then, in that sign of Gemini and having both sides, do you have a balance of the giving and the receiving? Are you aware as you're sitting on your throne and in your place of divine royalty of where that energy is going and what it is serving for yourself and for others? So sometimes looking at the energy of dominance also brings us to the realization of how many times our mind talk, our ego, our conditioned self dominates the body's wisdom. So your body is the divine feminine, the mind is the divine masculine, and we're learning to come into harmony with both parts of you. They're both needed. We both have a divine masculine and a divine feminine, but the divine masculine has been overstimulated to the point that we rely so heavily on our minds to make all of the decisions for us, and we've been taught to ignore the body. So we're in the rise right now of the divine feminine as a way to balance out those energies. And as you're coming back into learning about the body wisdom again, of all the wisdom that is stored in your cellular DNA, and learning to come through the deconditioning of your mind talk and purging all those stories and narratives and opinions that they're not your truth. That's not your idea of finances and prosperity and wealth. That was never yours to begin with. So we're leaning into the way that the body knows how much energy it has, its capacity to give, and what feels right for it and what does not. So that in its relationship to the third eye awareness is your intuitive knowing of what sounds right, feels right, knows to be right for you. And it means that you are waiting to receive the higher guidance clarity before jumping in and doing something. So you're becoming more mindfully aware in this beautiful time of Gemini of looking at both sides. And a lot of times what comes up is the body starts saying, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like to do that. I'm exhausted. I want to have something different. I want a new experience. I want to enjoy life. And the mind goes, but you're obligated. You said you were going to do that. You're not a quitter. This is how we make our income. This is all we know. And really then challenging that mental dialogue and examining for yourself. If you were to ask your mind and your fears, what is my greatest fear? And place it over onto one side. And then sit with the body and ask that divine higher self, that one that's sitting in the divine royalty on the throne, what is my highest potential? And look at the space in between that disconnect to then see, well, where can I reasonably start to fill in this gap by taking appropriate action steps that are going to move me closer to my higher self wisdom, to trusting in my body's responses on a deeper and deeper level. So when you really sit to contemplate this, and the concept of gathering together, and this is tribal energy, collective energy, this is like a magnet picking up all of the iron shillings, right? Or it's been really stormy out lately on Vancouver Island, and I had this conversation with my husband. I said, you know, you can't see the wind. You can see the effect of the wind on how it moves through the trees or the grass or the oceans or all these other things that it does. You can feel the wind, but you cannot actually see the wind. Well, it's the same with our energy, our aura, our magnetic attraction. It is there. So if you even glance at the room around you to notice how much air is here, how much space is here, how much capacity for your own creation is there. Now it's coming into the relationship of really, truly examining for yourself. What is your idea of prosperity? Can you see how prosperous you already are? And can you start treating yourself as that royal, divine VIP who is deserving of respect and dignity and integrity and knowing their value system and standing in the truth of your highest self to then put in place healthy boundaries that are not accepting things that are less than your worth? And this is not a better than anybody else. That would be the shadow of that energy of competition that comes through if that's arising. So really questioning your mind talk. Where do I feel that I don't deserve wealth or I don't deserve prosperity? Where do I feel like I have to compete for things in order to have a good life? Where am I spending so much time and energy just waiting to become a certain something to then have a beautiful life? And reminding yourself that we're in the divine feminine. The divine feminine is that flow of water. And when you're in the flow of water, you're in a state of being. You don't have to become anything because you already are. Your higher self, your soul self came in here absolutely designed for success. It's already pure light. It's already prosperous. What's conflicting that energy is the thought program in the mind, the outdated computer system that is now needing an upgrade. So that is what we are doing. We are learning to reprogram that narrative in the mind that has picked up thoughts and ideas from the collective viewpoint that has gone through many generations of feeling, I am not safe, I have this, I don't have that. So we want to bring in the gift in this energy, and it's the gift of synergy. And synergy is a vibrational frequency where you start to feel at peace and you start to feel at calm, and you're just noticing how you're in the flow of life. And sometimes you look back and you say, you know what, I don't know how that got done, but it just did. And you have this sense of satisfaction. You notice that when you're vibrating in this peaceful energy, this calm energy, this trusting energy, you're holding your divine self. So you're aware of what you are serving with your time and your energy and your thoughts. And you're witnessing how you're in this flow of life. Synergy is magnetic in nature. So this is where we see that like-minded individuals start resonating with your vibration. And now you're forming cohesive teams that are highly creative, and they're functioning well, they're communicating well, they're getting so much done because it is a beautiful magnetic fit. So we're learning that. We're learning that in the world as we are growing and we are evolving and we're changing and we're shifting and we're trusting again in the power of the divine feminine, the body, the flow. And you're reminding yourself the importance of loving your human and taking care of this vessel that houses your spirit, which means you're sitting on your throne and you are checking in with your available energy. And you're not dishonoring yourself by making yourself do something that you just don't have the capacity to do. You're loving yourself by looking at all of what you are serving and asking, is this mine to serve? Because this also has a relationship to gate 21 in the heart center, which is control. And that's where we see that pull in relationship to money and finances and prosperity in a tribal energy of wanting to control and dominate. We all have areas in our life where we are trying to control things that are not ours to control. We worry about someone else's problem. We feel we have to jump in and save things. We take on more than is ours to take on. So we're all in this energy of control that is then compromising your ability to be in the natural flow of almost like a serendipity. I'm in the right place at the right time and things just happen. I'm in the synergy. I'm in the flow. I'm in this beautiful relationship with gathering together with others, cellular in nature, that are a good fit. So yes, you're feeling like you're breaking away in this energy. You might be feeling the headaches, the cold-like symptoms, the tears rising up, all of these things as you're shedding layers and old stories and you're purging. What you want to remind yourself is, I'm ascending. And your job in this ascension is to keep your energy high. Focus on love. Focus on peace. Focus on calm. Focus on what lights you up. Focus on all the things that you have done that are beautiful and they're kind and they're compassionate and they are giving from that place of love. Start feeding your ascension as you continue to rise. When we come out of this energy, we have one more. We get to the 7th activation before we then hit the summer solstice. And that summer solstice is like that flower coming into bloom. You rising and coming into the fullest extent of your offerings now into the world, the fragrance of you, the magnetic quality of you, that is then in the summertime going to attract to it exactly what you are resonating out. So this is where we want to use this beautiful new moon in the sign of Gemini and the continuation of this ascension to clear the auric field, to release the old program in the mind, to challenge some of those stories, to go, where did I get that from? Whose idea of poverty is that? Whose lack story is that? Who decides what I have, what I don't have? What do you truly need to be successful? And can you see how prosperous you already are? So enjoy this time. There's some challenges in here, but like all things, change is hard in the beginning, it's messy in the middle, and it's beautiful at the end. That's a quote by Robin Sharma, one of the very first motivational speakers that I followed. And there's such truth to that. So when things feel messy and things feel scattered and things feel like they're all over the place, give it space and time to settle. Trust in the divine plan, trust in the process, know that there's two sides, so look at them both. What is your greatest fear? What is your highest potential? Then rise to meet them in the middle, to look at both and find what you can reasonably do to shift over to your higher self. So that's taking mindful action steps in the direction of your highest good, knowing that we are perfectly imperfect because we're human. So I send you all much love. Namaste to you all. If you are new to human design and you want some tools to get started, you can visit my website, lovingenergyrecharge.com. There is a free introduction course there. You can follow the links to get your birth chart. And you may also want to explore some of the inner alchemy tools to get an in-depth reading for yourself. Enjoy this energy, and I look forward to connecting with you all really soon. Take care.